Once favored destinations for British students, retirees and professionals are now turning away UK nationals. The reasons vary, from political disputes to cultural grievances, but the message is unified. Global attitudes toward Britain are shifting. Here are 6 countries leading this trend. Number 10. Turkey. In 2025, Turkey imposed major restrictions on British nationals, especially journalists, NGO workers and educators. These measures followed escalating tensions over the UK's perceived support for Kurdish political groups, which Turkey considers a threat to national security. While not a full ban, British visitors now face strict visa delays, limited regional access, and surveillance. More than 300 UK citizens were labeled undesirable persons by Turkey's Interior Ministry. The move reflects Ankara's resolve to block perceived foreign interference and protect national sovereignty. Number 2. Argentina. Argentina has enacted the Sovereignty Protection Act, banning British nationals from obtaining residency, business licenses, or property in areas like Patagonia. This is part of a renewed campaign over the Falkland Islands dispute, which Argentina frames as ongoing colonial persistence by the UK. British expats in southern regions are being evicted, contracts voided, and bank accounts frozen. Dual citizens must now choose a side or risk losing legal status. Even British tourism firms are being deregistered. The policy aims to curb foreign influence and reaffirm national control over strategic regions. Number 3. Pakistan. Pakistan introduced the National Clearance Mandate in 2025, requiring British applicants for residency, business, or education to pass stringent security screenings, including interviews and polygraphs. This marks a breakdown in trust, with Pakistani authorities citing espionage risks and post-colonial imbalances. Dual nationals and members of the British-Pakistani diaspora face heightened scrutiny, often resulting in denied visas or stalled approvals. NGOs and educators are facing tight restrictions, and even social media content is being watched for anti-state rhetoric. The shift represents Pakistan's push for sovereignty and equality in bilateral relations. Number 4. Iran. Amid rising tensions with the West, Iran halted all visa services for British nationals in 2025. The UK is now labeled a high-risk nation, with Iran accusing it of media manipulation, covert operations, and promoting instability in the region. Dual nationals have been detained, placed under travel bans, or denied consular access. British humanitarian and cultural organizations are being shut down or heavily monitored. Iran is even scanning UK-based Iranian social media accounts for anti-regime content. This policy is more than a travel restriction, it's a declaration that state loyalty must override any foreign connection. Number 5. South Africa. South Africa has suspended long-term residency for British citizens over fears of neo-colonial influence and economic imbalance. While short-term visits remain largely unaffected, British nationals are being phased out of certain industries and land ownership opportunities. The decision underscores growing frustrations with lingering colonial-era dynamics and emphasizes South Africa's desire for economic and cultural self-determination. Number 6. A growing global pattern. These restrictions are not isolated. They represent a broader realignment in global politics, where countries that once welcomed British influence are now challenging it, publicly and with policy. Whether driven by nationalism, resource control, or historical grievances, the trend marks a dramatic shift in Britain's global reception. In recent years, a wave of countries has imposed major restrictions on British nationals, not just as a political maneuver, but as a powerful statement of post-colonial identity and sovereignty. South Africa led the charge with the Foreign Equity Realignment Act, targeting disproportionate British influence in land, education, and business. British expats in strategic sectors like mining and education are being forced to reapply for visas, often unsuccessfully. Cultural sentiment is shifting too, pushing for homegrown talent and dismantling colonial legacies and institutions. Russia, in a dramatic move, imposed a full travel and immigration ban on all UK citizens in 2025. Labeling the UK a hostile state, Russia cited NATO tensions and cyber warfare accusations. British expats were deported, dual citizens forced to choose sides, and UK-linked companies and cultural programs completely shut down. Russia's message: intervention has consequences. China followed suit, blacklisting UK nationals across nearly all visa categories. Friction over trade, Taiwan, and tech bans escalated into sweeping denials for British journalists, students, and even tourists. British businesses were expelled, and dual nationals with Chinese roots were told to renounce their UK ties, or face detention. In China's eyes, Britain has moved from ally to ideological threat. Malaysia took a more subtle route, erecting bureaucratic walls instead of explicit bans. British applicants now face intense pre-screening, with most work visas rejected unless no local talent can be found. Cultural and religious concerns have driven scrutiny of British NGOs and educators, while retirees under the Malaysia My Second Home program are quietly being phased out. The UAE, once a key British ally, imposed sweeping restrictions in response to perceived diplomatic disrespect. British professionals are now classified as non-preferred applicants, especially those with ties to media, NGOs, or Western military forces. Property, visas, and even marriages are under review. Trust once lost is rarely restored in Middle Eastern diplomacy. And then there's India, delivering a powerful rebuke rooted in history. In 2025, India made it extremely difficult for British nationals to live, work, or study there. A mirror of how Indian citizens have long been treated by the UK system. British universities are being reassessed, companies face labor scrutiny, and NGOs are labeled soft power agents. India's message is clear: it will no longer be the colonial understudy. What we're seeing isn't just about immigration. It's a global reckoning. Each restriction reflects a deeper demand for fairness, independence, and respect. The UK's legacy is under review, and this list, it may just be the beginning. So what do you think? Is this about justice or revenge? Is it a correction of history or diplomacy turning personal? Tell us in the comments which country's decision shocked you the most, and whether you think this growing trend is justified or dangerous.